So the test that we chose was the chi-square distribution on a contingency table. So basically, a contingency table is used to investigate whether two traits or characteristics are related. Each observation is classified according to two criteria, and we use the usual hypothesis testing procedure. There is a perception that there is a preference in alcohol between genders. A research team conducted a study on gender and preference in alcohol, such as beer, wine, vodka, whiskey, and ciders. They had a sample size of 1,170, consisting of 570 males and 600 females. At a 1% significance level, can we conclude that there is a relationship between gender and alcohol preference?
We are now implementing the data into our contingency table with our sample size being 1,170. Next, we are going to get the expected value by multiplying the row and column totals and dividing that by the ground total.
Now we are calculating chi-square critical value by minusing the actual value by the expected and squaring that, then dividing by the expected again.
Now we are summing all the chi-squared values to get our chi-squared test value.
Now that we have finished filling out our contingency table, we are going to go through the 3 steps of hypothesis testing. Step 1 is to define our null and alternative hypothesis. The null being there is no relationship between gender and alcohol preferences, and the alternative being that there is a relationship between gender and alcohol preference.
Now for step 2, we have determined the significance level to be 1. The degree of freedom is calculated by the number of columns minus 1 times the number of rows minus 1 to get the degree of freedom of 4. The critical value being 15.086, meaning we will reject the null hypothesis if it is less than 15.086.
Okay, for step 3, which is the last step, we will be stating our conclusion. And our conclusion is based on this study, we have successfully rejected the null hypothesis because the chi-squared value, which is 28.455, is greater than the critical value, which is 15.086. Thus, concluding that there is a relationship between gender and alcohol preference.